I think it's great that you've always been able to just like, you were always comfortable in your truth and what you wanted. I think a lot of people struggle, they don't have that courage, especially when it comes to like family. Do you have any advice or anything? Because like you said, you know, you're an influencer, you live kind of playing out your own day. I feel like a lot of people, I feel like we all want to do that, but like definitely don't have the option. Like waking up at 10 sounds amazing.
Honestly.
Do you have any advice for somebody who is kind of scared to break out of that like corporate, robotic, I don't know, shell, or like they're scared to tell their family like this is what I love, or they don't think they're good enough because they have like 300 followers, like, you know, like what do you?
So honestly, like the only thing that I can say is like you're only stopping yourself. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say this shit is easy, because like, you know, like yes, having that stability or having stability is like something that I envy for people who work in the corporate world, because you know you have that 401k, you have like a steady check that's coming every 2 weeks, you have, you know, certain things that are contingent on just a structure, whereas like my money is contingent on what I put out and in my creativity, and my money is contingent on how much I work at you know, the restaurant that I work at, or how much I babysit. So it's very unstable, and like the creative field is very unstable, and like I would say if you feel ready and like your intuition is telling you like it's time, then just listen, because everything will fall into place. Like my intuition has been telling me lately, bitch, quit your job. But I have not been listening to her, and it's just like I have had the freedom to be able to lessen my hours, so I have like, you know, more days off to focus on what I want to focus on. But at the same token, like I would love to just be able to quit my job, like and just 100% be done with it, but that's just not a reality right now. And that's because like again, like it goes back to like growing up, you know, and just wanting to be financially stable and like be able to be independent and take care of myself, because that's what it comes down to. Like I just want to be able to be independent. And that's kind of like the theme of my life, because my family has like a way of like controlling or wanting to control, again, like how others live their lives, or how like the people in the family live their lives, and their opinions are valid, like their arguments are very valid, but they're also like not always warranted. And I just, you know, want to be able to, I've had the drive because of that to be able to be like, I'm gonna live this way. I'm determined to live this way. And even like if they think it's unconventional, because like working as a server and like being a nanny, like while it's great, I love my children, don't get me wrong, it isn't like it's not sustainable, and that's something that I have to think about. So to someone who, if you're just starting this out, like just hang in there. Like I didn't start out with 30,000 followers. Like I didn't start out, you know, like just brands reaching out to me and wanting to send me money for my content. It's something that I had to work really hard at. You know, I'm so blessed to have had like a best friend who is also in the game, and like she's taught me so much, and she's educated me on so much, and like been a guide in so many different ways. So it's just something that like whatever it is, whatever your field is, like you have to figure out how to monetize it. And like that goes back into a whole different argument of like us having to submit to capitalism because we have to survive. And like, bitch, these bills gotta get paid. Like this $30,000 student loan is not going anywhere until you know, like I pay it off. So it's just one of those things where like I understand I have bills too. Like if we like don't have the same bills, I promise you I have more. Like I just knew, and I'm just so against like doing something I know I don't want to do, that I was like, this shit's gonna work one way or another. So yeah, you just have to have the drive, honestly. Like, again, you're the only person holding you back. If you want to do it, if you want to, like, you know, if this is something that's your dream, you'll figure that shit out.
For real.
And the universe, once you start putting things into the universe, like, for example, my best friend and I were just talking about this the other day. I, like, have been putting out into the universe that, like, travel is really big on my heart. Like, and I haven't been able to do it for financial purposes. Like, traveling is really fucking expensive.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
you know, like, the universe was like, I got you, sis. Just wait, sit back. Like, just keep working, keep doing what you're doing. I know things seem hard right now, but just hang in there. And I did. And, like, I'm so happy that I did because, you know, I'm going to be able and am able to travel both for work as well as for pleasure. So the manifestations have been wild, and like if you really sit down and like write down, say out loud, even if you just think it and you're just like, I want this, and you do it and you just like take the steps to figure it out, because like getting off the couch and figuring shit out, like that's my issue right now with YouTube. Like I'm just like, all right, like finessing my way through all these different editing apps. I'm just like, I would rather just pay someone to do it. But I also like love having my independence and not having to depend on other people to do my shit. So that's why I'm like, no, like you need to learn how to do it yourself, because you don't need anybody to help you. You've done things yourself like since the beginning, so like you need to just like get off your ass and do it. So yeah, that's my biggest advice to people. If you are feeling like, you know, you're unhappy with your situation and how it's going, change it. And that's easier said than done, but having the motivation to do it is just like, that's where it starts. You have to have the motivation, you have to have the drive, the desire, and like sometimes that takes falling on your ass to get there, to have that motivation and have that desire to like make that change. It's happened to me more times than I would care to admit.
Right.
Where I have had to fall on my ass in order to be like, okay, sis, maybe we should change this, or maybe we should actually like put this into gear. And so that's really how, like, for me it got started, because like I have worked in the service industry since I was in college. That's how I paid my way through college. Now, I always knew that I wanted to do something that involved media. I got my degree in mass communication with a focus in public relations. So like what I'm doing is essentially like digital media marketing, and that's pretty much what I got my degree in. I took like the extra class to like have my like social media class and like have my certifications for like different social media outlets and like Hootsuite, all that kind of fun stuff. And so I was like, once I started doing the influencer stuff, which it kind of started my end of junior, beginning of senior year of college, and like into the end of my senior year, where I was taking this like social media class. And it's just like, I personally learn more of it on experience than I do in a classroom. I'm just an experienced kind of person. But yeah, it's just, things will fall into place when they're supposed to. You just have to do the work. That's what it comes down to.
Yes. That was a word.
A long word. We're going on tangents.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen?
In person? The internet has a lot of crazy things.
Or the craziest thing that's happened to you, or the craziest situation you've been in, like...
Oh, okay, so this is funny. It's not really that funny, but it's kind of funny. So I was like on a date, and it was like a chill date. Like we were just hanging out. We went to the movies, and it was chill, whatever. We're like in my car, about like saying goodbye, because I had driven him around to his car. And his like other joint, or like girl, whoever she was, like we knew each other, but I didn't know that they were still a thing. And so she rolled up on us and like knocked on my window, and I was like I was like, oh my god, like,
what did
this
she
is
say?
not happening. He got out. I don't know.
He got out.
He got out. They like walked around and like had their little like they were yelling at each other.
Okay.
I drove off. I was like, goodbye. Like, I was like, this is not my situation. I'm not in this. I don't want anything to do with this.
Right.
Sis, that's your man. You can
Have
keep him.
him.
You
Right.
can keep him.
Have
I don't
him.
want him. I don't want nothing to do with him. please go ahead, like get your man. So he texted me, called me like literally 20 times.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, no.
Right.
Goodbye.
Not happening.
So that's probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. I haven't had too many, like, I'm like, I love going out, but the universe protects me every single time I go out.
Yes.
And I have not experienced, I need some like wood to, no, universe, you got me. I have not experienced anything like super, super crazy happen while I was out. I've seen fights and all that kind of like crazy stuff, but like homegirl pulling up on us while we were in my car, like the fact that she knew where we were was a little bit offsetting to me. It was just like very off-putting. Like, did you wait for us like until the movie was
like,
done?
Have you find the
like,
iPhone thing, like
right, at all the things. So he said that she didn't, but I was just like, look, live your best life. I don't want no parts.
I don't want any parts anymore. I'm good.
Do your thing.